Catherine. It has been one hell of a week. So today is Saturday, November 16th, so it's been a week since I did my last video. And I think I'm a little bit more comfortable on camera because you put me to shame with how good you are at it. This week was definitely off to a complicated start though, because just a couple hours after I made my last video, I got a message from a friend back home that a mutual friend of ours from high school, who neither of us had really kept in very good contact with since graduating, had passed away. And that was just really hard to take because I've already lost two people that I went to high school with, and so this just, like, I'm too young for this. So the first part of the week was mostly spent just kind of talking to people back home and reaching out and just trying to get a handle on what happened and processing it, because being across the ocean and like continents away did not make it easier. But the good to come out of it is, in the way that funerals or death announcements often do, it brought people together. So I got to talk to people who I haven't talked to since high school and reminisce and just kind of catch up. And although the circumstances sucked and I wished it could have been different, it was very, like, it was what my soul needed to recover from that. And I think it was just good considering that I've been away for so long too, and I feel kind of disconnected to back home. So it was what I needed. But I definitely needed a couple days down to just kind of piece myself together and get over the shock factor. So nothing really interesting happened to me for the first half of the week. But come the weekend, I was like, all right, it's time to go out and do some fun things and go on some adventures and feel a little bit better. So Thursday night, I went and saw a play called Ezra that was put on by Bedlam Theatre at the EUTC, and it was just phenomenal. Just absolutely incredible, knocked my socks off. And I almost didn't get in because I showed up late, even though I had bought a ticket in advance. And they were like, oh, we're sorry, we've closed the doors and all that. And so I was about to walk away. But my friend was one of the people working the doors. I was like, oh, Kara, of course not, we got you. And she snuck me in. And I was so grateful for her, especially considering how amazing the show was. So afterwards I went up to her and I was like, thank you so much. You did me a really huge solid there. And she was just like, you're part of the club. We'll always do you a solid. And it makes you so grateful for the small connections that you make, even when you're an international student and it kind of feels like you have no impact sometimes. So that really made me feel good when I had been having a really hard week, like way more than she ever knew. And then last night, which was Friday night, I went to an open mic night called Birds with Words, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. So I'm about to attach a little clip of one of the singers who was just so good.
It's madness, I call it luck. I do what I got to be able to breathe. And if you quit your job, then you can do a little breathing with me. A punk rock song won't ever change the world. I can tell you about it.
I forgot to mention, earlier on Thursday, before I went to see Ezra, I went to a cat cafe with my good friend Dylan. And on the way there, I spotted the East Parkside cat, who lives on East Parkside, which is right in my same neighborhood. And I've only spotted this cat a handful of times, but it makes me so happy whenever I see them. They're always kind of yelly and looking for scritches. And there's another lady there who was helping me pet this cat. So here's videos from both of those.
Your little one. Oh, your baby. So
Do you
friendly.
think Maggie lives here?
I think so.
And that's why she's so good at spinning these. So it's quite rare for cats to have extra digits, obviously, but it is more common in Maine Coons, just from where the kind of breeding pattern they come down before they were domesticated. So they're from colder places, so they would have them pine trees and for little like snowshoes for walking through the snow.
Cute, huh? And since then, today I went to Edinburgh's Radical Book Fair, and I took some videos along the way there. So enjoy those too.
From Edinburgh, I am using headphones, so you will hopefully be able to hear me. But it's a very warm day out. I'm not even wearing mittens. I'm on my way to a book fair that I'm very excited about, so hopefully this is going to go good. Updates to come. The city, those are some of the buses going by. They don't have Metro here. They're Lothian brand, or yeah, it's city-run buses. Heck yeah! So I walked past the incredible Festival Theatre today, and I haven't seen a show there yet, but I really hope to. I've seen some other really good theatre since I've been here, which I can catch you up about, but there's always something happening with the arts in Edinburgh. I came from the book fair, which is located at a place called Assembly Roxy, and it happens to be right across the street from part of campus that I know pretty well. This is where the geography building is, that I'll show you in a second. Old Infirmary Lane. It is well street arted, and inside these gates is the old infirmary, which is now the geography building, and I take some of my classes there. I call it home base because it's where my advisor and all that is.
iMovie decided to eat some of my photos and just kind of make them impossible to upload, so I figured I'd make a quick little video showing you what I actually brought home with me from the bookstore. So that's Red, Cherry Red, a book of poetry, Lowborn, which is a novel, and Memoir and Period, which is kind of like an infographic book. I also got that free bag and a whole ton of zines, like a ton of zines. So I'm really excited about that. Also, I have not read Persepolis, but I've heard of it, and I want to read it if I didn't have a billion things on my reading list. Someday I'll get to it, I hope. Sorry, that sounded weird. I'm scratching my nose. I'm still working on Gender Fluid, as you can see. I haven't made much progress this week because it's been a rough week, but now I've got a really full reading list, so I'm extra motivated. Also, I didn't introduce my cast of characters this time because, to be frank, I don't know a ton of people in Scotland yet, and both of my friends are away doing things this weekend, so they're busy, but that's okay. So you also might have noticed I'm wearing a Christmas sweater, and if you didn't, now you did. So before you tell me this is blasphemous, in the UK we don't have Thanksgiving, as I'm sure you're probably familiar with Canada. So celebrating Christmas at the start of November, or like starting to get holly jolly, is just normal. Like, campus started decorating the first weekend in November, and all the stores got decked out with Christmas merch pretty much at the same time. So everyone's in the holly jolly spirit, and dressing like this is just status quo. So I have one last little tiny clip to bid you off with, of something wonderful that I saw at Asda, which is essentially the UK's equivalent of Walmart. Enjoy.